Hello everyone and welcome to round 2 of the ARL F1 Xbox 360 Championship. We're around Malaysia today. I'm Matthew Gallagher and joining me is a different co-commentator as Ryan is away. It's Jody Mills.
Hello everyone, sorry Ryan can't be here. He will be back next week, so you're stuck with me for now.
I'm sure everyone will cope just fine. As you can see, the Season 5 podium. Noble299 took the victory from TyranoTigger, with xMattyG coming home in 3rd place. And the Season 5 pole did in fact go to TyranoTigger, but Noble managed to pip him for the victory. It looks like it's going to be a very exciting race, just like Australia was. We hope you enjoy it.
Yes, welcome to the qualifying comparison. We've got Noble299 on the left, TyranoTigger on the right, the front row pairing from Australia. At it again, it's Noble on pole this time, so let's see how the differences were made between these two as they brake at the 50 metre board, trail braking as much as possible into the apex. Noble keeping a tight line on the exit, which opens up turn 2, which allows them to carry more speed down to turn 3 compared to Tigger, and then both of them using just a fraction of KERS as they come towards the end of the first sector. Noble just fractionally ahead, but they're both purple on the current pole time as they come into the apex of turn 4, pretty much absolutely identical as they now come through the flat out left-hander. 6th gear, shifting down to 5th as they flick the car right, hitting the apex and then letting the car run out wide onto the exit curb. This double right-hander now, Noble keeping it in 4th, Tigger down to 3rd, but they're both pretty much identical again as they come out of the corner on the DRS, now down to this tight left-handed hairpin, braking at the 100 metre board, chucking the car in 1st gear, and as we pause you can see it's Tigger just a fraction ahead as they now enter the final sector. Coming into one of the most difficult corners on the track, hard to spot the turning point, but they both hit it perfectly, carrying as much speed as possible through there, opening up DRS through this left-hander, and then down towards the penultimate corner, letting the car drift out wide before taking a relatively late apex to get as much speed down to this back straight as possible. Opening DRS once more, Noble using all of his KERS, Tigger saving a little bit for the exit of the final turn as they try and spot their braking point for this final corner, not wanting to mess up this lap. Both of them hitting it nicely, Tigger just missing the apex fractionally, but he'll be back on his KERS, but it's not enough, 10th and a half or so between them, and that is how these two took the front row for the 3rd league race in succession.
Thank you very much for that qualifying comparison, Harry Jacks. Noble299 took pole position with a 32.569, with TyranoTigger 2nd place, only a 10th and a half back. Rich C had a great result in 3rd place, just half a second down, with Raven in 4th place. He's going to be quite disappointed with that. Big Shot in 5th place, 7 tenths behind, with iProX Callum just a 10th behind in 6th. The Contadins 7th, with Fizzy Fan in 8th place. All of them are on a medium compound tyre, with Randy McScrandy, xMattyG and ARL looking quite ominous with their hard tyres and may well go further into the race. TRL Limitless took 12th place with Mazy in 13th, LC Speed Demon in 14th, with ACR Jordan 2.3 seconds back in 15th. He's going to be quite, I'd say, disappointed with that as well, with Tracy92 rounding up the 16-man grid with no time. This is round 2 of the ARL Xbox 360 Formula 1 Championship. It's xMattyG and TraceMe92 commentating. It's dry weather and it promises to be an excellent race, Jody.
Yes, it does. It was very nearly rain. It came in soon after the race, so we were very lucky to get away with it, and the race is about to start now.
And here we go. We've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. Ricky C straight into Rich Fuel Mixture, trying to get on the inside of TyranoTigger, using some of his KERS. If not, oh no, he's saving a little bit for the rest of the lap, but now he's holding 3rd place pretty well. We're now on board with the Contadins in 7th place. He's made a reasonable start, and he's now sitting behind Big Shot, taking a very tight line, but now he's been hit from behind, which has then lag bubbled into Randy McScrandy, but it seems like Contadins has got away with it.
Yeah, he's been boshed all over the place there, and he's lucky to still be in 6th.
And we're now on board with xMattyG, having a look at Contadins. He's got up the inside of Randy, but now we've cut to TyranoTigger, who's trying to go around the outside of Ricky C. It's going to be an excellent move if he sorts that out, but he's not. And now it looks like Cody RBII is now coming around the outside, and he's taken TyranoTigger, and he's now looking around the outside of Ricky.
Yeah, Matt, he's in 8th. He's just behind Randy, giving him a little nudge, giving him another little nudge, and Randy is off.
Randy is off indeed. It looks like Contadins may have given him a bit of a nudge into Matty's path. But anyway, we're back on board with Tigger in 4th place. It looks like Cody and Ricky are getting very close indeed, coming towards the hairpin on the first lap. Cody's now gone up the inside. That's a dive bomb and a half, but it's worked out really well for him. and Ricky's now holding the inside line with TyranoTigger now looking around the outside. And what's going to happen? Ricky's hit Cody on the rear end, and there's now 3 abreast going into this last sector. There's got to be a collision, surely.
No, Ricky's down to 4th, was up to 2nd, but he's coming up the inside of this, and there is cars absolutely everywhere. I think that was, who was that coming off? That was a Force India. I think not a Force India, that was definitely a Toro Rosso. It
was xMattyG.
Yeah, and Fissy's in 6th, had a wonderful start. He's going to take Ricky, I think, up the inside. Constance on the far right.
Oh, yeah, Ricky's actually got... Did he get past? But anyway, when we're on board with Trace United, there's all cars everywhere at the moment. Ryan 83 down in 13th place, so he hasn't made that many positions up. He's actually lost positions, I think, from the start. But he's now trying to get past 2 of them. We've now cut to Fizzy. There's action going on all up and down the field. Fizzy's now trying to hold it around the outside. Contadins has now smashed into the side of Fizzy. I think there was some lag. I'm not going to lie there. I don't think that was on purpose. We're now on board again with xMattyG, going up the inside of iPro X Callum, up into 7th place. We're now going to get a replay from Randy McScrandy, Jody.
We are, and Randy's been hit, but he's kept his position fine there, and he's in 7th position. He's hitting Constance on the outside. There's definitely some lag going on, and here's what we're seeing from Ryan. There is just absolute carnage. Oh, and Ryan's been hit off, and he's down to 13th. Trace is just ahead, seeing what's happening with Mazy, and he's just driven into the side of Marussia.
Yeah, I think he drove into the side of Ryan there. That wasn't a brilliant piece of driving there, but it is a very tight first 2 corners. So you've got to expect some sort of collisions. I don't think anyone lost their front wing or any sort of damage, so I think everyone will be happy with that as Trace goes steaming up the inside of, I think that was a Force India, as far as I'm aware. Was that right, Jody?
I believe that was Mazy, and this is Randy going off at the fast right-hander, and the whole field steaming through.
Yeah, Mazy's gone wide as well at the same corner, and you can see the struggling Randy McScrandy, and you now have Ryan going up the inside into the double right-hander, and this is another replay of Fizzy. You know, he did try and hang it round the outside, but with the lag, and I think Constance, yeah, as you can see, Constance did lock up a little bit, but on his screen, he wasn't aware that Fizzy was there, so he didn't know he'd been taken out, or taken him out, and as Randy McScrandy steams up the inside of iPro X Callum, was that? I think it was. And it looks like xMattyG's now looking around the outside of Constance. That's surely not an overtaking place. It's not. Constance has kept position. Oh my god, we're getting cut to all kinds of flipping battles. Fizzy now goes up the inside of Jordan as Jordan runs wide. I think there may have been a bit of lag there as well for that. And we're now back on board again with xMattyG going up the inside of the contadins. He's got to clear these people on options if he really wants to be making the most of his prime stint, because he has got the pace, considering he did qualify in 10th place, Jody. It's going to be a struggle from there.
He did, but he's up to, well, he's 7th at the moment. If he can take this corner, he'll be in 6th, and then he can get out and try and maybe get up to 4th by the first pit stop, and he could even, get a podium here. And here's Randy.
On board with Randy. No, we've now cut to Contadins. Contadins has steamed up the inside of xMattyG at the blind right-hander. That was a very optimistic move, but he seems to have paid off really well indeed. Contadins now used the rest of his curse to pull away from MattyG, and now TyranoTigger coming towards the final corner. We now have Cody looking up the inside. They're side by side going around the final corner. Tigger's got a little bit more curves as well as a fast Sauber, so I think he may well keep position. And MattyG's now hit Contadins. There's been collision at the final corner, and xMattyG is now waiting for Contadins to come back past, because that was not a legitimate move.
There's Trace me in the toe of Constance. Ryan just behind, in between 2 of them. Is he going to go for a dive bomb around the outside? No, he's not. He's backed away from it. Trace just ahead, and I think the Constance has just hit Matt there.
Yeah, I think Matt was quite sort of forgiving for that, as Ryan then hits Trace right in the side. Trace loses the car really badly indeed, and he's now down to 14th, and Ryan is now down to last place. He's not having a good season so far, is he, Jody?
No, he's not. The first race he did get disqualified for corner cutting, but he's back now. He's made his apologies, and hopefully it can be a nice clean race after the start, which wasn't so clean.
We hope so indeed, and as you can see, xMattyG outbraked himself a little bit because he was a bit daunted by Randy right behind him indeed. Gave him a little bit of a push through that last corner as well, and xMattyG understood that he would have to give back that position, as you can see, pulling over to the left hand side. But then Contadins was pretty angry indeed and steamed into that first corner, not really giving a damn about anyone, and hit into the side of MattyG's Toro Rosso.
Yeah, we just saw Trace being taken out by Ryan there. He's not going to be happy about that, but he's just got to get on with it. The cars are so close at the moment that he should be able to get on the back of the train. There's probably about 6 or 7 of them, and see what he can do from there.
Yeah, as we've seen already, I mean, you know, there's cars battling all up and down the field, so, you know, people who are in fresh air or clean air will be able to catch up pretty rapidly indeed, as Ryan has got an absolute job on his hands if he wants to be getting some decent points, as he is in last place. The only good thing he can think of is that he is on the prime tyres, so maybe he might be able to get an undercut, because round here in Malaysia, it seems that the option tyres actually last for quite a long time, so I think the drivers will be looking to maybe pit a lap 11 or 12 to go on to the options. And I'm going to introduce the pit lane reporter now, Harry Jacks. What do you think, Harry?
Yeah, well, the prime runners will probably be actually looking to pit perhaps before the option runners, as they know the options, especially a fresh set, will go a long way into this race, and look for an undercut on those who are struggling around those last few laps on their first stint on the option. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for them.
Yeah, thank you very much for that insight, Harry, as TyranoTigger is trying to save his second place from Cody, who did have DRS on that last straight, and it looks like he's just about managed to keep it, and he's used a little bit of his curves out of that last corner, as we're now on board with Mazy.
Yeah, just a simple overtake with DRS. Coming inside, Noble's on a 137.7, their fastest lap, and here's Fissy. He's had a whirlwind of a race so far. He was in 6th, he's down to last, he's back up to 13th, making his way through the field again. Yeah,
it's a good sort of, you know, spirit to see from Fizzy, that, you know, even though he has been taken out from 6th place, what a brilliant start he had with all the collisions going on, as it looks like Cody is actually trying to look around the outside of Tigger into that left-right. That's surely not going to work, and he's just about managed to keep position there.
Yeah, these two legends of ARL having an absolutely beautiful dice here. Is Cody going to go for another move here on the outside? I don't think he's going to work for him around the outside there.
Going to be optimistic, to say the least. And we haven't actually pointed out that, look at the lead Noble 2909 has. He had about a 4-second lead after the first lap with all of the collisions with Ricky C and Cody.
This is what he's comfortable with, really.
Yeah, you know, it's a bit like Vettel. Once Noble gets that distance, it's very, very hard to catch him. As Mazy runs very wide indeed. Jody, so what do you think? Because obviously you did race round here. How do you find Malaysia?
I find Malaysia, it's one of my favourite tracks, to be fair, but when you're driving not 100%, you look a couple of percent down and you keep locking your tyres up, especially at the second to last corner, it just gets so frustrating.
Yeah, you really have to be on your A game, because mistakes are punished round here, aren't there?
Yeah, they definitely are. If you lock your brakes, you're just going to lose 2-3 positions, especially you can see all the dots coming from the last corner. You're going to lose 4 or 5 positions.
Yeah, any mistake is punished very, very hard. And Cody has now gone up into second place with that DRS pass, as we're now on board with Mazy CZ going up the inside of LC, a pretty standard DRS overtake, and Limitless looked like he was locking his brakes quite hard into that first corner as well, as Trace now does a little bit of drifting around that first corner, and Ryan has now sneaked through. Once again, these two have been very close the last 5 laps, and I'm sure it was going to continue for the rest of the race.
Yep, and here's Fissy trying to go around the outside of LC Speed Team in the Caterham. Is he going to make it stick? Looks like he isn't. LC's kept that place well played.
That is not a bad driving from LC. He broke a bit earlier, managed to get the good line through the corner. Fizzy had to wait to get on the power, and he's had to slot back in 12th place. But he's very, very close now. He's surely not going to go up the inside of the double right-hander. That's a bit suicidal if you ask me. But anyway, Fizzy, he's kept level-headed. He hasn't made any mistakes as such. It's just been other people crashing into him by the looks of things, Jody.
Yeah, and Mazy Pro Callum behind, who I think should really be doing better than he is currently in the first 2 races, and he could be up there sort of battling from the top 7 positions, but he just can't really get his race pace together, Matt.
Yeah, he has shown really good pace, sort of coming through the lower leagues and things like that. But it seems like on race day, you know, he's been involved in collisions, and like at the first corner at Australia last week, he made a catastrophic mistake straight into the wall, lap 1, turn 1, which ruined his race completely. As we're now on board with Tigger with DRS, I don't think he's going to manage to get past Cody at turn 1, but he's always lost the car a little bit, had to go run wide, and now Ricky's right behind him. These 3 are very close indeed, and I've got to say, Ricky C is pulling out a stellar performance, Jody.
He is. He's got to be so excited and thrilled to be up there with the top 3 quickest drivers in the ARL at the moment. If he can get a podium out ahead of those 3, he will, it'll be the best day of his ARL career.
Definitely. I think he will be very nervous come the last few laps if he can manage to maintain the position he's in right now. As Jody, TraceMe92 is going round the outside of LC Speed Demon, and he's now right behind Ryan. As I said, these two are holding hands as such. They're coming through the field together, or they're trying to, because personally I think these two do have the pace to at least be in the point scoring sort of 6th, 7th, 8th places. And, you know, they're going to be coming through the field rapidly towards the end of the race, I feel, especially with TraceMe92 being on the prime tyre, is that right?
It is, yeah. He qualified with no time and we put some nice fresh primes on. He's probably going to go to lap 10 or 11 before switching to the options. And, well, oh, what has happened there?
Tigger has gone off into the gravel and destroyed his vehicle. This is unbelievable scenes. Ricky C has just had an absolute front row seat to TyranoTigger.
And let's see what happened.
One of the championship contenders. He must have
Hope
had a
he's
wheel
okay after
malfunction.
Yeah, I believe he had the classic Fanatec turn you to the left crash moment, which I have experienced myself, and it is not nice at all.
Unbelievable scenes, and that means Ricky C has gone up to 3rd place as xMattyG. Now the inside of Contadins and Mazy CZ going around the outside of TRL Limitless, I think that was. And we now have another overtake as well. Is that iProX Callum going on Fizzy? So
it is.
Tons of DRS passes going on, Jody. Do you think the DRS is a little bit too powerful around here?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you can lose like 9 tenths if you're a tenth behind, and you still have DRS. I mean, and it's very hard to gain enough time to get ahead of them, even if you're a lot quicker than them.
Yeah, you've got to really hook up the laps if you want to be pulling that second and
Callum's
half.
making a bit of a weird twitch for Fissy there, and Ryan's giving him a little bump, and Fissy's definitely turned in too early there, but still close enough to them.
Yeah, Ryan turned in a little bit too early there as well, and he's got a bit of dirt on his tyres, but I think it would have rubbed off by this double right. God, they're going very slowly around this double right-hander. And Fizzy and iProX Callum going towards the hairpin. Is Fizzy going to look up the inside? He is indeed. Has he made a little bit of contact there? I don't think so. Callum's got out of it unscathed, so he's gone up into 10th place and a single points position.
Yeah, I think Trace Me in the first sector was a second and a half behind Ryan, so he's happy that he's caught up and he's going to be in the DRS now. So
Ryan's gone around the outside of Fizzy. Sorry to cut you across there, Jody, but Ryan's gone around the outside of Fizzy into that left-hander.
He has, and Trace trying to go around the outside of Fissy as well.
He's tried to get into the slipstream. I think that was a little bit of a silly mistake there, because then he had to slow down, otherwise he would have hit straight into the back of him. Is that right, Jody?
It is, but he's come up the inside, he's hit the apex perfectly, and you can get on the power and DRS. He should get that overtake if we could see it in a bit.
Now we're on board with Contadins and DRS, and goes past xMattyG, so those two are battling pretty hard. Contadins being on the options and xMattyG being on the primes, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And we now have Fizzy and TraceMe92, and I think iProX Callum all with DRS going down this straight. Fizzy's now dive bombed up the inside and lost the rear end a little bit. He's hit iProX Callum and TraceMe92. He's made up 2 places.
He has, and Ryan and Trace are going to be wanting to make a break from this train of 3, because Jordan's just behind them, and if they can just get out their DRS and they can sort of both get into the points.
It's brilliant to see, although there is a little bit of contact going on. I think Fizzy understood. Did Fizzy give back the place there? I think he gave back the place, and then Callum made a mistake out of the next corner, so Fizzy was absolutely fine to take him at the next corner. As we're now on board with xMattyG, once again, the DRS, the Contadins and DRS and xMattyG seem to be going hand in hand at the moment as they just keep swapping positions lap after lap.
They do, and here's Trace behind Ryan. He's going to get out of the way, Ryan. I'm coming through, and at this point he thinks that he can go get Limitless. He's 4.2 behind, but it's possible.
It definitely is possible. TraceMe92 has shown in the past absolute speed at some points when he actually practices for the races.
Yeah, I believe last season qualified 14th and managed to get 6th, so...
Some inside knowledge, not biased at all. But anyway, let's talk about some other drivers. Ryan83 now going up the inside of TraceMe92, but Trace has now kept it round the outside and got on the power earlier. So now Ryan has to follow him through this left-right, which is very tricky, isn't it, Jody, when you're following cars with the dirty air?
Yeah, it's an absolute pain. You just can't get on the power. You get on the marbles, and then if you get on the outside on the grass as well, you lose your revs, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, it's really tricky, and as you can see, Limitless now going past with the DRS once again. xMattyG peeling into the pits now. Harry Jacks, talk to us.
Yeah, he's coming in, he's coming towards me now. A relatively early pit stop, the end of lap 10, but he should be able to get to the end on the option tyres from here. He'll be slightly disappointed, I think, with his first stint. He'd be hoping to be a bit closer to those podium positions, but we know that those option tyres should bring him into play later in the race.
Yeah, we hope so. So how different do you think the options are compared to the primes, Harry? Do you think there's much of a difference?
There's not a massive difference around here, as it's the medium and hard compound, so there's only one step difference rather than two we see at other tracks, but that difference definitely will make come into play at the end of the race, and he'll be hoping to bring himself back into play for a possible podium position for sure.
It'd be interesting to see how it pans out. But anyway, we now have Randy peeling into the pits as well. So a lap later, Randy has come into the pits, the other prime runner, and I think it's Ryan and Trace are the other two. So do you think the same will happen for Randy, Noble? Harry?
Yeah, he looks to be quite a bit ahead of Matt before these pit stops, but that should bring him out relatively sort of mid-pack. He'll be hoping not to come out around too many people, as there's another car coming down the pit lane, so he's very close to get him out, but he just about manages to do it, so that's lucky for him.
Sorry to cut across you now, but anyway, it seems that Fizzy is trying to go around the outside of Cody, our BII. This is impressive stuff, Fizzy. I think they're in completely different strategies, but Fizzy is still having a little go, and I don't blame him. Why would you not? It's like Cody RB is one of the fastest drivers in the ARL, and Fizzy's getting involved, Jody.
Yeah, doesn't have much track time to race with Cody, so when he gets the opportunity, he's just going to go for it, even if he's got old tyres. So good on him.
It's good to see. It's good to see as we're now on board with Mazy CZ, who now decides to do another bit of drifting. It seems like he's struggling with the downshifting of that Force India. Was he just downshifting too early there, do you think, Jody?
Yeah, especially he's got old tyres now, so you have to be really careful. And as Noble flies into the pits,
take us through it, Harry.
Yeah, he'll be looking for another solid pit stop. The pit crew have done a good job on Matt's car earlier in the race, so he'll be hoping for something similar. He's got a healthy barrier to the cars behind, so no one coming down the pit lane should be able to hold him up, and he'll be hoping to get out in clean air and just carry on driving the way he is. He's done nothing wrong, as Ricky now passes us on track to take the lead for the race. As we now come into the pit box, will it be a sub 3 second pit stop? But it is, so it's a good job by the Toro Rosso pit crew again, and he's on his way hoping to come out in clean air.
That's good to see, as Ricky C, as you said, takes the lead. I think Ricky was very keen on leading an F1 race, and that's what he's doing. And he's on the option tyre as well, so you can push them to sort of lap 13, 14. As Trace Me 92's now in the pits, Harry.
Yeah, we've got a whole host of cars coming into the pits, like 3 of them. It'll be difficult for the cars down the end of the pit lane to come out in front, as obviously they'll have to wait for the likes of the McLaren to come past, and the Force India likewise with the Marussia, so they'll be leaving the pits as they came in the same order.
Yeah, and xMattyG has set the fastest lap of 1:36.9 as we're now on board with him. As Harry said earlier, the option tyres can make a difference, especially in the start of this stint when they are fresh and they are ready to go. As now the Contadins comes into the pits, so it's action-packed down in the pit lane, Harry. I'm sure you can't even see all the cars that are going past you.
Yeah, it's getting quite hectic down here, but we're just about coping as the Contadins up into 3rd place at this point, but now obviously being passed by the cars out on track, going back onto those prime tyres, and he'll be relatively easily getting to the end of the race on those tyres, but hoping to make up or defend as many positions as he can from those behind on options. Yes,
definitely. I mean, him and xMattyG were quite close, but xMattyG did pit a few laps earlier onto the options, so you would like to think that he would have pulled the gap on Contadins. As Ryan 83 now coming out of the pits, just in front of the little battle with Fizzy and LC, and it seems like Fizzy is just sort of coping at the moment with LC, who is on the option tyre. So I think LC will be looking quite good if he's going to start pumping in the laps on the options, Jody.
Yeah, I think Fizzy's going to be very disadvantaged in this stint, being on the primes. I mean, if he would have stayed in 6th and not getting taken out, he could have got a good finish, really. But now he's on the primes and everyone else is on options. I mean, it's going to be difficult for him.
Yeah, it's a really big shame. Obviously, he does use the sideways T-cam. Very unpopular for some people, but he goes with it. And personally, some drivers think that, it's a better T-cam. But I'll speak about that in a minute. As Ricky C comes into the pits, Harry, what do you think about that?
Yeah, he's left it a couple of laps later compared to the likes of Noble and Cody RBII. He was battling pretty closely on track with Cody, so he'll be having those extra few laps have allowed him to gain an advantage, but Cody's tyres would have been up to temperature for a lap or so it's going to be tight to see where Ricky comes out on track compared to Cody.
Yep, as Randy now using DRS past Big Shot Player up into 4th place on his option tyres, and Ricky now going around the first corner in 3rd place. Randy is not that far behind, Jody. I'm thinking that Randy will be catching Ricky on his option tyres. Do you?
I do, yes. So Randy's had a brilliant race because on the first lap he went wide and he was down to nearly the back of the grid, and now he's 3 seconds behind a podium. So he has had a fantastic race so far.
Yeah, and we didn't actually really talk much about the TyranoTigger incident. I mean, obviously we spoke about the Fanatec issue, but how do you think he's going to be feeling? I mean, he had a really bad Australia race, obviously due to some incidents on lap 1 and losing his front wing as well. How do you keep up a motivation when you only have 2? Well, you know, did he score? It was 9th, wasn't he, in race 1, and he hasn't scored any points here today. How do you keep up the motivation?
He has the pace to win multiple Grand Prix, and he knows he's done it in the past, and he'll do it again in the future. And it's going to be hard because Noble he gets on the podium the majority of the races. He just got to hope that Noble has a car failure or something.
Yeah, or disconnection or something like that, or have something similar that will happen to Tigger today with the wheel failure. So Randy, as I said only a few laps before, has now got in front of Ricky C and is up into 3rd place, and Big Shot Player is right behind Ricky, and he's having a look and maybe getting up into 4th place, and he's now going to have the inside coming towards the 1st sector split, and he's easily passed him. He must have used a lot of curves out of that 2nd corner, Jody. Do you think that's a good move? Oh, Big Shot now loses the back end and loses that place. And he's not going to be looking great for the rest of the lap, as he's probably used most of his curves, do you think, Jody?
Yeah, he has. And Ricky in 4th now, and we're going to have a replay of Fissy. He's going to go for a little overtake of LC up the inside and on the prime tyres, keeping with Ryan's just ahead, and I'm sure Trace is just ahead. So Fissy driving well at the moment, considering he's disadvantaged. Yeah,
he is driving well, and I think it also highlights as Mazy once again round this hairpin, losing the back end and downshifting much too early for my liking anyway. And these are the mistakes that lose you crucial points, and he's got to take that into account and maybe just take it a little bit easier next time he goes into the hairpin.
Yeah, twice now. He's actually managed to get out of Trace's DRS, and twice he's made a mistake at the same corner and got him back into his DRS. So not good.
These mistakes, they lose the positions, as Big Shot now using the DRS on Ricky. Ricky now down to 5th place. Yes, he is. He is down into 5th place as Big Shot sticks that through the 1st corner. And he is losing positions at the moment, Ricky. But, he's just got to stick with it and just get as many points as he can after that brilliant start.
He does, and here's Fissy with it. I think LC's just behind. I can see the arrow. Is he going to use all his curves and go for an overtake, LC?
I think he's saving, or is he saving? He's closing in pretty rapidly, but I think that's mostly due to slipstream as Fissy goes to the inside to just about hit the apex. He went down to 1st gear, which is very odd. I don't think I've ever gone through that corner in 1st gear, so he's quite lucky that he didn't have another Mazy CZ and lose the back end. Do you think, Jody?
Yeah, and as LC's lost time in the dreaded left-right with the horrible downforce that you lose behind a car. And we're on board with the race leader just on the fastest lap of the race.
Noble 2909, he's invincible when he's 4 or 5 seconds down.
Who's that at the side of the track, Matt?
I think that was Cody. Is that Cody RBII? Down. Out of the race by the looks of things. He's not moving. If you look at the minimap, there's a dot that is not moving, and everyone has gone up a position, and I'm assuming that isn't Noble 2909 because we were just on board with him. Let's look to the right. Yes, it was a Williams. That's Cody. So that's Tigger and Cody out of the race as Cody now loses connection. No points for both of the title contenders. This is huge, Jody.
This is huge. What actually happened there, man? Do you have any idea?
I think his wheel disconnected, as far as I'm concerned, or aware of at least. Anyway, as xMattyG looking up the inside of Ricky. Is he going to make it stick? They're very close indeed. They've almost touched tyres, and xMattyG
that's a beautiful
gets the DRS.
Move. But Ricky's just. We had to even have DRS open there.
Yeah, DRS is open, and now xMattyG is looking up the inside. Is he going to make it stick into the 1st corner? He's riding the curb pretty hard indeed, but he has got in front of Ricky. Is Ricky going to go up the inside again? No, he's not. He's just about managed to sit behind him as xMattyG goes up into 4th place on the option tyre, right behind Big Shot now.
Yeah, he did really well into the 1st corner. He was in 2nd for most of it, trail braking. He could have lost the back end quite easily when he eventually went down to 1st, but it was really nice driving from xMattyG there.
I must agree with that. Anyway, we're now on board with Trace United up into 9th place, so he is in the points positions. As you quite rightly pointed out, Mazy making those mistakes means that Trace is now in the DRS zone of Mazy. So he's going to be looking to hopefully get up into 8th place as Mazy runs very wide indeed. That was very lucky to not hit the gravel there.
Yeah, Ryan was 9 tenths behind, so Trace is going to be wanting to get past Mazy and make sure Ryan doesn't get in his DRS, because he just wants to beat Ryan a lot. I know he does.
I know you know. You're very good friends with him, aren't you? As xMattyG now looking for a podium place. He's now up into third place, going easily past Big Shot. As Big Shot breaks very late indeed, but xMattyG has broken even later as he saw how late Big Shot broke. And looks like Randy's had a little bit of a lag spike as well, so that may well mean that xMattyG gets DRS on Randy as well.
It does, and Trace has gone around the outside of Mazy, doing exactly what he needs to do. Can he hold it together? Locking everything possible there. But he has managed to break for the corner, and maybe he can now get away and catch up to 7th place, who I believe is Contadins at this point.
Yeah, you can see on the minimap he's not too far ahead, maybe 3-4 seconds down the road, I think. So now we have an epic battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Randy a little bit ahead, so it might well be just an epic battle for 3rd. But anyway, Big Shot's now run wide out of the double right-hander, which has given an opportunity to Ricky to maybe have a look round the outside. That's going to be interesting. Please don't do that, Ricky. Don't throw it away. And he hasn't. He's kept that nicely. He's actually got a nicer exit than Big Shot. But he is in lean fuel mixture, so maybe he's struggling with a bit of his fuel.
Yeah, maybe he is. Ricky, the least experienced of these boys up here, but he's staying with them fine, and he looks to be saving fuel, so maybe he's going to, go for that podium in the last few laps with a few laps on fast.
Yeah, that's what a tactic a lot of drivers use, is to sit in lean sort of towards the end of the lap, make sure you still get DRS for the car ahead so that you can stay with them and then put up the standard, still get the top speed. It's a pretty standard strategy, and I'm sure a lot of you watching will have used it yourselves. But anyway, Ricky now sizing up Big Shot. Is Big Shot going to get DRS on xMattyG? I don't think he has.
I don't think he has. No, he hasn't, and he's easiest overtake of the week right there, and he is up into 4th position with his sights on xMattyG.
So Ricky now back up to 4th as xMattyG did have a little bit of a lag spike on that straight. I will inform you, because he was out of DRS of Ricky and Big Shot, had a bit of a lag spike and then locked up into turn 1 because he was raging. But anyway, we're now on board with the battle for 8th place, as Mazy, I think, got a little bit of a nudge there from Ryan, and that means Trace may well be pushing to get out of that DRS.
He has Ryan's come through, and Trace is going to be worried now because he knows Ryan's a little bit quicker than Mazy. So, but Mazy's going to look up the inside. It looks like it. No, he's thought better of it. Ryan's locked up everything, but managed to keep on the track. And actually, with the fight with Ricky, Matt, for the podium, Ricky's actually on primes and Matt's on options, but they are a bit worn at the moment, aren't they, Matt?
That is true. Yeah, Ricky is indeed on prime, so his tyres are going to be looking a lot fresher. But xMattyG, as you said, he pitted on lap 10. So his options by the end of the race are going to be 18 laps old. So you can only imagine how bad that Toro Rosso is going to be understeering and losing traction. As Ricky now using DRS, he's closed DRS.
Very strange.
But
is that a tap? Did he receive the tap there from xMattyG?
I think he did receive a little bit of a tap there. We might be able to get a replay, as xMattyG does keep 3rd place, and Big Shot now looking quite good to maybe get counter.
Oh, that is some very hard defending from TraceB92 there. Pretty late to block Ryan there, but no contact was made, and he's kept the position.
Yeah, he's gone very to the inside. He went to the inside to try and hold Ryan, and he did. And now we're on board with xMattyG, and that's what happened with the nudge. There was no actual nudge on xMattyG's screen. It was more of a lag bubble.
It was, and this battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th will go on until the final lap, I'm sure. Trace is ahead at the moment, but I'm not sure how he's doing on fuel at the moment, as Mazy's up the inside. He's going to go into the double right-hander for an overtake. No, that would have been catastrophic. It
would have indeed, as Mazy still sits behind Ryan in 10th place, with Fizzy in 11th, quite a bit further back now, as we're now on board with Ricky C, once again with DRS. He hasn't got any curves, actually. He's had a curves failure, but he's still managed to keep with xMattyG on his worn options, and he's now looking up the inside. Is he going to make it stick? He's managed to hit the curb nicely, but they're side by side. This is really close racing, and xMattyG's just about kept the car ahead, but he's lost the back end a little bit. But Ricky has no curves to use to get up the inside of xMattyG, who looks like he's in lean fuel mixture with the acceleration his car's having at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't have pulled out there. He's got all the marbles all on his tyres, and with Big Shot so close, he could be overtake him soon.
He could. As we're now on board with Ryan, there's a replay of him trying to look around the outside of TraceMe92. And is he going to make it stick? I think he is. What a brilliant move there. He's outbroken Trace, as Trace now hits the back of Ryan, and Mazy now having a look, but didn't get the... I think maybe Trace used a bit of curves out of that corner just to save his position.
He did, I think, yes. And here's Mazy still behind Trace, coming into the double right-hander. Pretty standard affair going through there.
Yeah,
I think
they're all within a second, aren't they?
They are all within a second, and with 2 laps to go, I mean, I wouldn't want to call who's going to get 9th position here.
8th, I think you mean. But anyway,
8th position, yes.
Yeah, 8th position. You know, these are crucial points for the people that want to be staying up in this league. Some people are going to have different aspirations. Some will be thinking, I'm going to be fighting, you know, to stay out of relegation. Others will be wanting to sort of get mid-table. As Ricky now having a look at xMattyG, or just trying to psych him out or something. Maybe that's just his line into the last corner. But anyway, he's using the rest of his curves now. He's open DRS. He's now trying to get his first ever podium position. His first podium in F1. And he's now taken 3rd place as xMattyG. Now looks up the inside again. Looks like Ricky's run a little bit wide. Maybe a little bit of a lag bubble there once again. Who knows? But it looks like xMattyG's actually gone around the outside of Ricky into that 2nd corner, and he's kept 3rd position.
Yeah, I just did notice that xMattyG was -1 fuel, so Ricky is definitely looking good for his first podium, but Big Shot's very close as well, so it could even be Big Shot.
It could. We really have no idea, as Mazy's lost the back end very strangely there indeed, and Trace has received a penalty. But as with the ARL, with any incidents that are given a penalty on this game, you can appeal it and get it removed by the stewards, so we'll let you know in the results what happened with that. But anyway, we're now got another replay. That's where Mazy lost it. Very odd indeed. Maybe he got a bit of a lag bubble touch. Oh god, I love that term, lag bubble. It's really, I'm sure we're going to have it all season as Trace. Very strange braking there. Do you have any insight to that, Jody?
Yeah, he was worked up at this point after the little tap on Mazy. He had to let him back through, and he knew he wasn't going to get Ryan at that point. It got too much for him, really.
As we're now, I'm sorry to stop you there, Jody, but Ricky C is taking 3rd place from xMattyG. This is an absolute monumental battle going on between the two of them, and Big Shot just sitting there thinking, right, if you two crash, then I'll be taking that podium position. Thank you very much. But anyway, this is the last lap. So xMattyG has used the rest of his curves trying to get near Ricky, but he can't seem to do it. His tyres are a little bit gone and his fuel is very marginal. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. As Jody, TraceMe92, is having a look at Mazy, but he's gone very hard onto the curbs there, which has lost him quite a bit of time. And now xMattyG has got a great run out of that right-hander. He can't possibly have a look into that double right-hander, Jody, surely.
No, he's going to have to. Well, his only chance now looks like the final corner, or maybe out of the final corner. But he hasn't got any curves left for that, so I can't see him getting a podium at this point.
Yeah, I don't think wasn't very great tactical driving from xMattyG the last sort of 5-6 laps, because he was so set on keeping Ricky behind that he used up loads of his fuel. As Noble2909 comes round the final corner to win his 2nd race on the trot. How does he do it? As I said in the last race, I will never know, but my god, this guy is looking very good for the championship already, and it's only the 2nd race.
He is, and Ricky, unless he makes some miraculous balls up, is going to take it the podium. Randy in 2nd, great drive there from him. Great drive from Randy as Ricky C takes his first podium in F1. What an excellent drive as xMattyG comes home in 4th place. And contadins, with that early battle with xMattyG comes home in 7th, with ARL83 8th, 9th Mazy, and Trace, having a little bit of a crash into the wall as he comes over the line. Fizzy just missing out on the points, but wow, that was maybe not as action-packed as Australia, but it doesn't disappoint, does it, Jody? It doesn't. It definitely wasn't action-packed for Noble. He just walked it. He did walk it. Noble2909 took the victory, 17.5 seconds ahead of Randy McScrandy in 2nd. Rich C, we've said it already, what a brilliant drive by him, with xMattyG coming home very close in 4th. Big Shot player in 5th, with TRL Limitless 6th. Contadins 7th place, with ARL83 coming home in 8th despite being in last place. 9th Mazy, with Trace rounding up the top 10 with 1 point. Fizzy Fan just missing out once again in 11th. iProX Callum 12th. LC 13th. Jordan finishing the runners in 14th, with ACR Raven, Cody RBII 15th, TyranoTigger in 16th, both of them not finishing. That is going to have a massive impact on their championship hopes. But, you know, you've got to keep trying. It's only round 2, isn't it, Jody? It is round 2. There is 18 races to go, and as we can see, the Drivers' Championship, Noble already has a huge lead, but Raven's got 15 points, so he's only 2 victories behind.
I just want to point out there's not 18 races left because we have dropped Monza and I think Canada as well, haven't we? So there's a few less races this season. But anyway, the Drivers' Championship is looking pretty close for second. Not really first at the moment, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more incidents and things like that to happen in the races to come. But the Drivers' Championship, you got Tigger in 12th place. You've got to think that he's going to be not there for long, really, Jody.
No, I think he'll be by the end of the season at least in the top 4. If not, I think he's good enough to get back into the top 2. Really.
Me too. We'll see how it pans out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching round 2 of the F1 Xbox 360 ARL Championship. It's been Malaysia. I've been Matthew Gallagher.
I've been Jody Mills.
And we thank you very much for watching, and we hope you'll tune in next week for China.